I'm doing good. How are you?
Good.
So, what did you want to talk about today?
Well, I'm a Muslim, and I see that you're, I don't know, making some statements on women, and I don't know. Do you have any questions about Islam or anything like that?
Yeah, I have a few questions.
Okay.
My first question would be: do you live in the? If you're comfortable answering this, of course. Do you
Sure.
live in the United States?
I live in Canada.
Okay, well, the Western Hemisphere, basically.
Yeah.
So, would you consider yourself? You said you are a Muslim.
Yeah, I'm a Muslim.
Were you born? Are you a born Muslim, or did you just adopt?
Yeah, I chose to become a Muslim myself. Like, I wasn't born into a Muslim family or anything like that.
So, what led you to Islam?
Um, what led me to Islam?
Yeah.
Just kind of like believing that there's a creator, and I studied biology and botany, and I studied cell division in plants and animals, and it's a pretty complex process. Do you know much about it?
Um, I wouldn't say a lot, but I have studied biology.
Okay. Do you know about like the process, how DNA replicates itself?
Very, very minorly, but yes.
Okay, well, we don't have to get that specific. We can say that there are basically processes and cycles that are in nature and in the cycles of our galaxy and things like that. And I just basically said that it's really complex. For example, with a tree, when the leaves fall from the tree, they decompose into the soil, right?
Yep.
And all the nutrients that's from those leaves help build the soil and give the nutrients back to the tree, right?
Yeah.
In the soil, there are microorganisms that live in the soil, and they decompose those leaves. If there were no microorganisms, the tree wouldn't be able to do what it does. So how would that tree know that it can let its leaves fall and that there would be microorganisms to do that for it, you know?
I don't think trees do know. I just think it happens. I don't think trees are self-aware.
Yeah, exactly. It just happens, right?
Yeah.
And do you think it's by coincidence or that it could be there could be intelligent design behind things?
Maybe not. I don't think anyone on Earth has any evidence either way. Because most religions are like unfalsifiable hypothesis. Like you can't prove them wrong or you can't prove them right. So I don't think we'll ever know for sure. I would never rule it out and say that it's completely no, because that would be stupid to do. But I mean, at this point in time, I would say I don't know. It could be, could not be.
Okay. So then, what is your take on your purpose of life, or why are we here, or do you think there's any truth behind it, or do you think there's?
I don't think there is a distinct purpose of life. I don't think. No, I don't really buy into that much.
All right. So you're saying you don't know your purpose, or you don't have a purpose?
I don't think humans are born with purposes. I think that they adopt hobbies and things that they like to do, and they become good at those things, and they decide which of those things they enjoy the most, and they pursue that. I wouldn't say anyone's necessarily born like knowing what they need to do in life.
Okay. So for example, when we're born and we learn things and we interact and then we grow up and then we die, do you think that cycle is just kind of whatever, or do you think that there's a hereafter, like a life after death, or
You know, a lot of people are afraid of, you know, there not being anything else after life, so they'll go to religion defaultly. Um, I couldn't possibly know, to be honest with you. I couldn't say. There could be an afterlife, there might not be. I think it's impossible to ever know. I hate people that pretend that they know for sure.
yeah. Okay. So then when you talk about religion, do you generalize all religions as being kind of the same purpose?
I mean, it depends. There are some generalizations you can draw, obviously, but there are some like you can't. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So what about Islam do you think that is wrong or that you don't see right?
It's a lot. I definitely would consider I think there are two different types of Muslims in the world. I think there are the westernized Muslims, and I think there are Muslims on the other side of the planet. I think they're completely different.
Okay, well, let's not talk about types of Muslims because every person is different. Let's
Sure.
talk about the religion, the scripture, the what we believe is like the revelation, right? So like the Quran and the Hadith. Do you know about the Hadith?
I do not.
It's basically teachings from our Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. It's just things that he said, narrated, reports, stuff like that. And then there's the Quran.
Which is the holy book.
Well, we don't really believe it's holy. It's from God, right?
Yep.
That's what we believe, but there's nothing really holy about the book itself. Like, it doesn't have powers. The book, literally, the book is just a book with words written on it. But when you speak those words, that's when it becomes, there's a, I don't know, we call it the noble Quran because it has honor to it, and it has things about it that we believe are miracles. Like, for example, do you know in English when you spell race car, you can spell it backwards and then it spells race car?
I did actually know that.
So in Arabic, in the Quran, there's full verses that are like 3 lines, 4 lines long. They do the same thing. They're spelled backwards. They could be saying the same thing, but then the content of those verses are saying something really profound. So that's like something linguistic we believe is a miracle.
Okay. Well, drawing back to how I feel about, you know, I still think there are two different types of Muslim. Like, I think the religion isn't really as connected as people think. How do you? Well, let me ask you a question. How do you feel about Sharia law?
Sharia law.
Yeah.
Well, one part of what you just said was English, and the other one is Arabic, right? Sharia basically means the way, and there are aspects of you could say jurisprudence. It would be like what would happen if this happened, kind of thing. But a lot of it has to do with your practices, your manners, like how you interact with people, how you, like, if there's land, if there's inheritance, if there's people being married. It's a lot. It's a way of life. It's
a very
more
dangerous
than
way
just,
of life.
Why is it dangerous?
How do you feel about the treatment of women in Muslim-dominated countries where Sharia law is present?
Okay, so then I'll just say that there are no places that really implement Sharia 100% properly. it's usually dominated by cultural values and backgrounds. So like the way that Muslim countries treat their women wouldn't be the way that it should be according to Islam. Does that make sense?
I mean, I get what you're saying. I don't really agree with it. I think places where they've, it kind of seems like when you say it that way, like it seems like you're the only, like, I don't know how I'm trying to explain it. So whenever you say it like that, it would be like me being a Christian and saying, well, these Christians just aren't right because they didn't interpret it the way I interpreted it. You know what I mean?
But yeah, well, depends on the what you're talking about.
So what is the article of clothing that women are supposed to wear in public under Sharia law? I can't remember what it's called.
The hijab.
I believe that's what it's called. It's black. I'm not.
It doesn't have to be black.
Okay. Well, it seems
the main thing is that your private parts aren't showing, and that for the women, that their faces and their hands, they can be showing.
You don't see that as like a sign of oppression.
Well, women choose to do it on their own. Like for men too. Yeah, for men, there's also the article of clothing we have to wear, which is basically loose clothing because it doesn't reveal our body shape, and it creates a atmosphere where there's not any promiscuity or perversion. And for women, it's modesty, and for men, it's modesty. It just depends on how you want to look at it. Like, a lot. If you talk to women that are Muslim, they'll tell you like they put it on because
the thing is, most of the time, when we see like women in Islam, where Muslims are the majority, like women don't seem to enjoy it very much. It seems women are very oppressed, and I see women are sold for animals. Women are killed. And I think it was Pakistan. I can't remember what country that recently is trying to pass a law where it's okay to gently hit your wife if she disobeys you. You know, it just doesn't seem right.
Yeah, well, again, it's a country, Pakistan. They're doing that. That's what they're doing is not really according to Islam. You have to separate the culture and the people from the religion. Does that make sense?
Kinda. It's kind of hard to separate the culture from the religion because it seems like they're like really, really hard Muslim. I think instead of,
I would say that they're not. They're more ignorant and they're more stuck on their culture because Pakistan and India are heavily influenced from their cultures where they're more dominant over their women. It's
definitely. So that's why I see Muslims that live in the Western Hemisphere that have 9-to-5 jobs. They don't a lot of them don't pray like however many times they're supposed to a day. A lot of the women don't always wear, like, they don't follow the rules strictly. It seems like most modern Christians who are okay with abortion and gay marriage and stuff like that, but they still claim Christianity. Like, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. I'm just saying that seems how like westernized Muslims are in general.
Well, yeah, that'd be a step too far for me because I would say, like, yeah, you definitely have to pray 5 times. The women should be wearing their hijab.
Well, you think women should be forced to wear those in public?
No, it's an act of worship, right? Like, so when
you think they should.
Well, yeah, if they're calling themselves Muslims and they're not wearing the hijab, it's kind of like, I mean, it's up to them. That's their choice. But I think they should. Yeah, that doesn't mean I'm saying that they have to, right? It's like everybody should work out and eat healthy, but that doesn't mean they have to.
Okay, well, how do you feel about radical Islam?
Define radical Islam.
a report came out that said 1 in 4, roughly 25% of Muslims in the United States think that suicide bombing is sometimes or often justified. How do you feel about that?
No, definitely not. To suicide itself in Islam, basically you condemn yourself to hell.
I was always thought that if you died for Allah, you got your 72 virgins or what? Or how that goes.
No. It's so you can die what they call a shaheed. But to do that, it's like, I don't know. Imagine say, God forbid someone was attacking your family and he wanted to kill them and you got in the way and you had to kill that guy. I don't know, for example. But he killed you. You die trying to save your family. That's like an honorable death kind of thing. I don't know. That's but to go and blow yourself up for killing innocent people who had nothing to do with whatever you're trying to prove, that's not justified in Islam. And if the person said that he was dying for the sake of Allah, Allah wouldn't see it that way, because you're going against a lot of things in Islam that are very clear, like not to kill human beings, not to kill innocent human beings, and not to harm others, not to harm yourself, and not to kill yourself. Like, there's so many things that you're going against there.
So are you like a devoted member, like, or do you live with like other Muslims? Like, how does that work?
Yeah, we have a community and we study together and stuff like that, and we pray.
It just seems, I get what you're saying. It just seems like the majority of Muslims in the world are kind of different. I think that if Sharia law was implemented in the United States, it'd be terrifying. I think, in countries where Sharia law, like you said, it's the culture thing, but it seems like there are different places in the world where it's implemented, and it's very bad for a lot of the people that live under that rule, and it's very oppressive. And
Okay, well, let's try not to focus on the bad examples, and let me try to tell you about some goodness that would come from it. If we implemented Sharia, just one part, I'll explain. This part called zakat. Zakat is it's like a tax. So if we changed our financial system to be the Islamic model, we would see there would be an equality in wealth more, but there would be also division for, like, you get what you work for kind of thing. So if you have over this standard of gold a certain weight, you have to donate, but you give it to people that are close to you, and you help out close people to your family. You help out the orphans and the needy and stuff like that with that money. But there's no interest, zero interest. And right now we're in a financial system where it's based on interest, and it's basically just to steal your money. Like, that's why it's so hard to get by.
Is it?
Yeah, it is.
I don't know. It seems like my parents do okay in this economy. I think most people. So, would you consider yourself a capitalist?
Capitalist? Free market?
Yeah.
Yeah, but there'd be certain limitations. Like, if you just look at Islam and the business transactions, it's a lot. There's ways to do things, and it's much structured. And by the way, there's enough wealth in this world where the richest person in the world could build people so many things, like houses and solar panels.
But why should they?
Why should they? Because they could never spend that.
But it's their money.
Is it?
Yeah.
So when they're being taxed, that money should go towards good things. But when we're being taxed, our money doesn't go towards good things. It goes to off to paying the national debt. In America, you guys have a bigger problem than us, your national debt.
Yeah, but America's national debt is America still has the most powerful economy in the world, and the ability to, if America wanted to, at any point in time, America could crush any economy in the world just by shifting money around in the world market.
Really, you think that? Okay.
Yeah, I do. Russia, we almost caused another recession in Russia in under a year just by putting on regulations and because of their aggression in the Middle East. And we could do the same thing to China with the Red Sea.
Wow. Okay, yeah, I get it. Well, just don't be scared one day when you wake up and that your dollar is not going to be worth anything. Because,
well, I mean,
you know what a fiat currency is?
Fiat currency.
Yes.
I've never heard it put that way, but I probably know what you're talking about.
Have you ever played Monopoly?
I have.
Yeah, the currency in the Monopoly is a fiat currency. So it's based on nothing. It's just paper.
Yeah, our money has no backing. Yes, I know.
Yeah. And not only that, but the initial printed money was based on interest. So that's why you guys are having debt problems.
I mean, every country, our debt is bad. I agree that our debt is bad, but I feel like in 10 years, we could solve our debt problem. I don't think that.
Really?
Yeah. I think there are ways to curve the deficit. I mean, as much as I dislike Obama, and I think Obama's been a terrible president, he did cut the deficit. Even though he has spent more than any other president ever, he did cut our deficit in half, almost in half. So I think if we could get rid of certain government programs, we could cut our deficit even more and maybe go into a surplus, depending on how we can do with manufacturing.
So let me guess, you voted for Trump then?
Yes.
Right on. Okay. Yeah, just sorry to burst your bubble, but it's actually impossible to fix your financial system.
I wouldn't say that it is. I wouldn't.
Yeah, the only way you'd have to switch to real money. And you'd have to base.
Yeah, well, every country in the world has debt. The richest countries in the world have debt. Strategic debt exists. I think America could be the richest. America is the richest country in the world, and we're still $20 billion or $20 trillion in debt. That just shows you how our economy can work. I think we could get our debt, our debt, excuse me, we're 10 trillion, not 20 trillion. I believe we can.
So you don't think there's a problem with your financial system and your $10 trillion in debt?
Well, yeah, I do. That's why I voted for Donald Trump, and that's why the Republican Party gladly has control of the country right now, so we can reduce our government spending by a lot.
Well, it's a global economy, right? So
it is.
You'll see same problems everywhere, basically, because the global economy is all based on debt.
It is. That's money in general is based on debt.
No, it doesn't have to be. No,
it really does.
No,
it has to be based on credit. Without credit and debt, there is no economy.
No, you have tangible money that you. That's there.
No. Well, let me tell you how it works. So, you're a 22-year-old who just graduated from a 4-year university, and you haven't got your big job yet, and you make $25,000-$30,000 a year. You need a car. You can't afford to save up 4 or 5 years and save up, not 4 or 5 years, excuse me, 2 or 3 years to save up $15,000 to go put a down payment on a new car so people will get loans. Credit is basically created when an item is exchanged and an item is exchanged and agrees to pay it back. And without credit, that's what money is based on. And it's logical and it makes sense because without credit, how are people supposed to get things? Because they can't save up for things that cost $20,000 and $30,000.
Here, let me ask you a question. Do you like paying interest?
if it means me getting something sooner, then as long as the interest isn't too high, then sure.
Okay. How would you like the idea of a loan being given to you, say that 15 grand you're talking about, and there'd be no interest on it?
That wouldn't make sense for the loaner. I don't think that would ever happen.
And then if you weren't able to pay back that 15 grand, what if that person who loaned it to you, what if he all of a sudden just forgave you? Could you imagine that?
Yeah, that's impossible.
You think that's impossible?
Yeah, I definitely do.
Why?
Because rich people aren't interested in giving their money away for free. I wouldn't be either if I had $100 million, to be honest with you.
You would keep it all to yourself?
I mean, there are things I would give away I personally, I wouldn't be a huge charitable person. Every once in a while, yeah, I would probably give money to something. I definitely wouldn't give away millions of dollars a year.
No? Okay. So what I just told you about was the model in Islam, the way they give out loans. There's no interest on the loans.
But who gives out the loans?
The people with money.
Yeah, but they're forced to by what would be the federal government. That's not fun at all.
No, you're not forced to do anything.
Well, then how is there a guarantee of loans? There's no way in hell that rich people in this country would agree to give away all their money. There's no way.
No, so the concept in Islam is that you get a reward from God when you die.
Yeah, I hear you, but I think that they care way too much about money to ever let that work.
Yeah, I know. I'm not saying it's going to work here. That's why. I
don't think that'll work anywhere, to be honest with you.
That's why you see so-called Muslim countries where their so-called Sharia is not working because
no, not at all.
It's total corruption.
So, can you give me a country that has successfully implemented Sharia law?
Sharia? You would have to go back in history. And also, there are some countries that are better than others, like Malaysia. Oh, well, I don't know. What was some other ones? Oh, Morocco is not bad.
And that's Sharia law?
No, it's not Sharia. It's like Sharia law. I don't know what you mean by that. It's like
Sharia law would be basically if the laws of this country were based off Christianity.
Okay, let me tell you just Sharia, the goals for Sharia, what it's supposed to do. It's supposed to protect your what am I trying to say? I'll just say what I know. Your intellect, your property. Yeah, that's the one. Property, your dignity.
But for who though? Whose property are we protecting? Because we're giving away a majority of people who worked for their money are being forced to give it away.
Zakat is 2.5%. So and it has to be in savings for a year. So if you had 20 grand in savings, not from your regular spending, 20 grand in savings that's been there for a year, are you going to be able to give out 2.5%? And that's the only tax.
I mean, it sounds good, but then again, where does the federal government get their money?
That's where they get it from. Because once you take care of everybody, you have your priorities. You take care of everyone that's in need, and then after a while, there's nobody that's in need anymore, and then you start piling up your reserves.
Do you realize how unfeasible that is?
No, it's pretty feasible.
It's not feasible at all. If you took all the if you took the entire 1% of America, you took everyone that makes over $250,000 a year, and you taxed them at 100%. You took all the money from the rich people in the world. You could not afford to run our government for more than 3 months. Did you know that?
Well, yeah, I'm telling you, you got to kibosh the whole entire financial system for this to work. It's not like we can just kind of try to fit it in here because this system does not work at all.
For who? It works for me.
Yeah, you can, but trust me, you're not living it to your full potential. Like none of us are for what we could be having and what the rich people are really having.
So why penalize the rich more for working? I don't want if someone went to college for 6 years and had to pay $100,000 to become a doctor, and they make $500,000 a year, I don't want their money. They work for that. I'd rather work for my own money.
No, it doesn't have to do with you. Like if you're doing okay, that's fine. But there are other people that are.
Yeah, but the whole philosophy of the system is let's take from the rich and give to the poor.
Yeah,
See,
it's take from everybody. It's a percentage.
so you're a
that's
socialist.
general. Or what?
So you're a socialist.
Search
A
list?
socialist.
Socialist. No, I'm not a
It
socialist.
seems like a very socialist idea.
Sure, whatever you want to call it. Just look it up yourself, because I can explain it to you, but if you see it on a screen or something like that where it's properly laid out, it'll make more sense.
I mean, I still think free market capitalism, no government restrictions, barely any government restrictions is still the best way to go. But I mean, I see what you're saying. I don't agree with it, but I see what you're saying.
Sure. So do you believe that there's a creator?
I personally, I haven't really thought about it too much. There could be, could not be. I find myself, when you're in a tricky situation, you say, "Oh, dear God, please, like help me." You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I was about to beat this mission earlier, and I was like, "Oh, I'm about to die. Please, God." You catch yourself every once in a while saying like that. I personally don't know. So there could be, there could not be. I haven't really thought about it too much. I'm 17 years old. I'm really thinking about a lot of other things. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Huh. Yeah. So you're saying that like when you're down and out, or when you're in like a survival situation, like is it depression or is it survival?
I mean either or. I'm not really in survival situations, but you know what I mean. Whenever you're in a tricky situation, you'll catch yourself saying, "Oh my God," or "Please, God." You know what I mean?
Yeah. And when you say God, like what's your concept of God?
My concept
Like,
of God.
Yeah.
My concept of God is, I was raised in the southern states of America, so my vision of God has always been, scraggly beard person in the
Yeah.
sky who keeps the world going. You know what I mean?
Okay. Yeah.
I guess that would be my perception of God.
That is?
Yeah.
Or like, do you really believe that?
It's all,
or is that just what you've been told?
It's all I know.
Okay.
I,
Do you want me to share with you the concept of God in Islam?
Why not?
All right. So basically, God, he doesn't have a gender. We just say he because, I don't know, English language. So he doesn't have a gender. He doesn't have any offspring, and nobody gave birth to him. He's uncreated. He's separate from his creation. He's all-knowing. He doesn't have a beginning or an end. He's the most high over all of his dominion, and he doesn't share it with anybody. And he's sovereign, and he's free of all needs and all wants. And he's the sustainer of everything that exists. He knows all the inner and outer aspects of all of our existence, basically. And then he's all-seeing and all-powerful. It could go on and on. And he's only one. Like he's unique, and he's a complete one form. Like it's not broken up into thousands of gods or three or however many.
Yeah, it sounds actually pretty similar to the Christian Lord. It sounds pretty similar in certain respects, I guess. When did you become a Muslim, if you don't mind me asking?
About 3 years ago.
Were you an atheist before? Were you?
Yeah, kind of like you, kind of just, maybe this, maybe that.
Just wondering.
Not, yep. And I don't know. I took my shahada. It's like a testimony of faith. And then I started studying it, and I thought to myself, well, if it's not true, then I'll just walk away from it, and it's not going to matter to me because it's not true, right? Like, there's a lot of religions saying a lot of crazy things, and to me, it doesn't matter because I don't think it's true, right? So I started studying Islam, and I started seeing there's a lot of authenticity with the Quran and with the Hadith, and like in terms of preservation of the book and of the knowledge, how they did that's amazing. Do you know anything about that?
About that specific religion, or like what?
No, like so for example, with the Hadith, how they preserved it, they call it an isnad. Isnad is like a chain of narration from a person to a person to a person. And these people had to have biographies written about them, and they kept all of these preserved, and then eventually they just collected the whole thing, and they collected the Hadith and they wrote it down, and they have them all collected in books. And when I try to look at other religions, I don't see anything like that. Like, for example, if someone says Buddha says this, and then they'll have a quote.
Well, there are the Bible is made up of books.
Yeah, but it's been translated how many times?
A lot, by a lot of different people.
Yeah, the Quran is original Arabic. If you want to know the message, it's there. You can translate it. But like I said, the miracles and stuff like that, it's in the Arabic language in the Quran.
All right.
So that's why we believe that it's the actual word of God. Like, he spoke Arabic. He revealed it in Arabic, basically. So if you read an English translation of the Quran, we wouldn't say that that's the Quran. We'd say, okay, somebody translated that, and that's how he translated it. But you'll get the general
I don't want to.
idea.
I don't mean to interrupt you, but my phone is actually at 1%. I'm afraid it might die any second. I had a good conversation though.
Yeah,
I like having conversations with intelligent people who don't yell and don't force their opinions on other people. So thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
Feel free to follow me. I don't know. I got a lot of followers on here, even though I don't get on that much. But feel free to follow me. And every once in a while, if you want to challenge one of my positions or talk to me about something, you can hit me up.
All right, sounds good.
All right, have a good night.
Yeah, you too.